Hello there, it's Matt Rogers from Salisbury Elementary School. I was just making a really quick video that goes over the different components of the weather unit we are currently studying. So right now, we've covered a series of the different tools and items of our weather chart that we keep every single day. The most obvious one that the students are most familiar with is the thermometer, and we talked about temperature outside and how that's usually a tool that is used by many people to identify how they're going to use clothing choices or whatever those type items. We also talked about barometric pressure, and we talked about high and low systems and how that affects the weather, talking about how the high pressure expands from the heat and rises, usually in dry, calm weather, and then the cold, poor weather, usually rain or storms, are in low pressure systems that then kind of swoop in, creating wind and further storms. So we've been talking about those two and using a barometric pressure to and a barometer to identify what the weather is going to be as a predictor. From that point, we talked about wind direction using weather vanes and wind speed using an anemometer that looks like this. This is our classroom version. It's obviously not a professional one, but the cups then catch the air and rotate on either the miles per hour scale or the Beaufort scale, which is a different scale used by Sir Francis Beaufort, a sailor, using observations from his sails. Most recently, we've been talking about um, transitioning into wind speeds that then led into our conversations about humidity and what that looks like in the air. And then now we're talking about evaporation and condensation. So we're going to continue the unit going further into cloud types. So when you look outside, whether you see a cumulus cloud, a cirrus cloud, or a nimbus cloud, or a stratus cloud, those four different types, and how they kind of intermix and what you can predict from the weather. Um, we've talked about how meteorology is not a perfect science, but you use each of these tools to make your best guesses of what the weather is going to be like. So the biggest thing that we are working on in class is the identification of the weather tool, what it measures, and then the scale that it's used. For instance, temperature, use the thermometer, and Fahrenheit and Celsius. Or barometric pressure is measured in either millibars or inches, and that's measuring air pressure. Wind direction using the cardinal points, north, south, east, west. Wind speed, miles per hour or Beaufort scale, and then our humidity is using a hygrometer. So we are talking about those items and others, but I wanted to give you a quick update of what's going on in weather, and I'll keep you posted as we get closer to the unit test. Let me know if you have any questions, Mr. Rogers. See ya.